Hey, it's Doom here from Dungeons and Doom Biscuits, and we're back. And I'll tell you now, we had some problems. So that super glue did melt the body pretty bad, and I had to do some hot glue stuff on there, and it doesn't look great, but it's sturdy enough now, I think. So let's talk about painting this bad boy. So looking at the art, he's brownish with like a gold tint and like a blue. So we're gonna start by painting him brown. I have here a color called Nutmeg Brown. And we're just going to coat the entire guy in this for now. I think is what we're going to do. Get my brush a little wet. We're just going to paint him brown all the way. And if this is a little watered down, I think that'll be alright. Make sure you get in the cracks where the styrofoam melted if you did the same dumb thing I did. I'm not worried about the end of his tail as much because that's going to be that blue color. We're painting the roses red. So, I don't know if you guys are aware of this, but if you want to watch a really tacky, horrible fantasy series, go on YouTube and type in Shelley Duvall fairy stories or fairy tales or something like that. I started watching it last night out of just pure curiosity. It looks like it was made in the 80s. It is really tacky, and the production value is not intense, but it's relatively good for kids, I think, maybe, and adults that are just bored. So I give it, on the Doom scale, nothing out of nothing, because I didn't really focus on it super good. It was kind of a background noise. Can't give it a fair judgment. I did look at some of it, but again, production value was pretty low. Significantly lower than anything you'll see made these days, but I'd love to see them try something like this again with modern technology, because it's so much cheaper to add production value than it once was. Okay. I think that's most of them. What we'll do is base like a rock crag, maybe. We'll use gray. Start with a dark and then work our way down. Probably could have left some of that. We can do some brown on that base too, I guess, some dark brown. Since we don't have a nice clear flight stand, we'll just simulate that this is a dumb looking thing sticking up that makes no sense. You can do a better job on yours, please. Try to do a better job on yours. Alright, so since he has a lot of hot glue on him, and I'm not sure how sturdy his torso is at this point, since I think it is mostly hot glue now, we're going to go light to dry him off. So we're using the +2 hot air gun of burning on low setting. So he's not perfectly dry there, but I think what we can do in the meantime is come back with a medium gray and a piece of cardboard. And hit any spots we missed. In there. Let's wipe a lot of that off. Kind of lighten up that rock crag a little bit, you know. hit it again because I don't think I did a great job. Just kind of making it so it's not all one color. And then we'll come back and we'll do something with that, lighten it up, maybe in some spots. Then we're going to wash our brush out and look at lightening up this brown. I'm already seeing some things I don't like I left a little bit of string of super glue right there, or hot glue right there. I don't want to start all over painting again, so, oh, that's a little bit too wet yet. See right there, it's just too wet. All right. So we need to lighten him up, and we probably want to do that with like a softer brush. So I have this cheapy makeup brush here, and I'm just going to get some Territorial Beige, or not Territorial Beige, I'm sorry, Khaki, which I use quite a lot, and it's a pretty light color. We're just going to wipe a lot of that off, but not all of it. And then we're going to give him a alternating, not alternating, but we're going to break up his color pattern some. So he's not all one color. And this is kind of a drastic change for this step. So you could even probably mix this with like another brown that's a little darker, or the brown we used before maybe, and get a better effect than what I'm getting here. This is just plainly a mistake I'm making at this point. It's a little late to go back though. So, here we go. Just lighten him up. Get that tail good. Got some right on my rock like a dumbass. I'd like to come back to this conversation I have with you guys all the time, that perfection is not a prerequisite of a good craft. Sometimes the things that we might have thought were mistakes or we didn't like turn out to be actually pretty decent parts of it. So any of this paint job here that looks bad right now might end up looking awesome in the end. And this is also a testament to what happens if you don't have a plan going into a craft or know what you're going to do. I have a lot of fun just kind of saying, you know, YOLO or whatever, you know, F it is really what I say. But you can put whatever effort in you want. So now we need something a little lighter than that. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to get a little dab of that brown over here. There we go. And I have this yellowish ivory color here. I'm going to get a little bit of that. And I'm going to get this brush put away. Let me rinse it out. My soapy water over here. These makeup brushes, you can't just kind of like stick them in the water and swirl them around. You got to like put a little effort into it. And then afterwards, I take them to the wash sink in the basement there, and I clean them out a lot better. So we're going to get a bigger dry brush, and you're probably thinking, why would we need a bigger dry brush? Well, it's not that we need a bigger dry brush. It's that I need something that can dry brush really well. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to make a really light dry brush. And I want to get this all over this brush so everywhere I hit it covers. And then I want to just pick up some of the highest spots in the tops of all the wings a little bit. And then I want to hit his neck and his back. And lighten him up. Make him look that much more noticeable. I'm going to get rid of that brush. And now we got to figure out about this. So his beak is like this dark blue. We can actually use speed paints on all that part, I think. But we need to figure out something with his tail because I didn't do a good job on that. So where's that cardboard I just had? Here it is. Let's get this brush again. I thought his tail was blue, but it's tan. Let's get that, tan that up. And let's get this lighter color. Just kind of hit some of it. I hit some of these spots I kind of missed in here. I want to catch the outsides of his wings a little brighter. All right. Not perfect. Thank God we're not being graded on perfection. We're being graded on if this stands to be a good proxy on the table. Right? Right. Amen. Preach it, brother. All right. So, that dark blue. A speed paint would probably do that pretty well, I'm guessing. So, let's see what I got in the way of speed paints. Let's look at this one. This is called Cloudburst Blue. If you don't have a speed paint, you can use an ink or you can water down regular paint. You are not constricted to using whatever I use in my videos. I try to do everything as cheap and free as possible, but sometimes just for time reasons, investing in a box of speed paints, though they are a bit pricey compared to craft paint, is a pretty good pool. So we're going to use his face as our experiment here. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to get this brush, which is the Army Painter Regiment brush. I'm going to get the tip damp. I'm going to pull some of that out and see if that's too dark for what we want to do. And it looks like it's actually going to be what we want. You make sure you're spreading this around well and not going super thick. You don't want it actually pulling up and doing the job of a speed paint. You just want it to kind of stain this, okay? And make sure you watch around those eyes, because I have to look and see what color those are on. So those are where the blue and the green, or the blue and the tan kind of come together, is where the eyes are. So we want to kind of stop before we get to that point. Don't hit your eyes. Now, you didn't need eyes. You could have skipped the eye part if you wish. I didn't. I decided to pin drill some little eyes there. And I don't even know what I'm going to do with those eyes just yet. So, all right. So looking at the artwork, the musculature of his wings has this same kind of blue. So we're just going to kind of pull that around down there. And then we might come back and lighten this up later. I don't know yet. We'll have to see how it looks. So all I'm doing is just kind of dragging that past that point a little bit for my sake. Kind of get what I want it to look like. And I'm just dragging that roughly there and making it a little jaggedy. So if I decide to come back and like dry brush that later or something, it's got some extra area to work with where the blue kind of comes out. Mecca like a high, mecca honey ho, dibbity dee. I'm just doing the same thing, just dragging a little bit of it around, give it so it's not so perfect and liney. Not paying super close attention to the bottom side, as it won't really be seen well, but it will be seen some. So then I'm just kind of connecting those. Because they're close and I think it would look all right. I'm looking at the artwork here. It looks like his tail's going to be kind of the same deal here. And so it's not so abrupt, like a perfect line. I'm just going to kind of drag some of that up around and jagging that up and make it kind of come together. Like a little bit of a, I don't know what you call it. So it's not such a line. There. That's what I'm going for. Not such a line. I'm just going to come back and touch up some of these top parts of these wings and drag that blue out a little bit more. All right. So I think we're done with that. There is definitely a little bit more of a goldish quality that I liked on these. So I'm going to come back with this brush and I'm going to do something. I'm going to get some of this Zealot Yellow. And I'm just going to get that on my brush and I'm just going to grab the backs of these and kind of yellow those some. And this is a step you don't really need to do. It's just something I want to do, just to give it, like, the appearance of these things are kind of golden in color, really. Nothing too fancy. And I'm not getting all the wings. I'm just getting the back, the sticky outy parts of the top back here. Just because that's what I wanted to do. And I'm going to do that same thing on the tail if there's any left in this brush, which there's not much of. Just kind of tie that together. Alright, so now we need to lighten up this blue for sure. It is way too bright. But before we can do that, because it is a speed paint, we're going to need to dry it off. So let's get the +2 hot air gun burning. Let's get this guy nice and dry with a low heat. So we got to find the blue that will lighten this up, but not make it ridiculous. So I'm going to get this Award Blue, which is a good bit lighter. And we're going to test it on the beak, because the beak would be an easy place to fix if we have to make a repair, right? So we're going to not really so much dry brushes, just get it real thin and just kind of pull it around on there and see what we can do. And that is not terrible. It's a little vibrant. And capturing that little bit of texture, we have the dragon tail, because it does have some ribbing on it. We're just going to drag that lightly on there and try to leave some of that effect, even though we don't need it. It doesn't add a whole lot to the miniature. It doesn't add anything to the storytelling of this mini. I'm going to get a little bit more of this. I'm going to just use that same thing and just kind of lighten this up. And there's a little bit of brown on the beak there I just want to catch. I'm going to catch around the edges here a little bit. Then I just want to touch right here. Why? I don't know. Just an idea I had. I'm going to touch up around this a little bit too. I think it ties it in a little better that way. I'm going to drag it back onto the wings a tad. Just barely touching, just getting little smudges of blue there. Just smudges, that must be a technical term if you're not aware. I think I'm going to do that same thing and bring it back onto where the eyes are on the beak a little bit. Okay. Now you might think that doesn't look great, but I actually like it, so I'm going to leave it like it is. I don't really think we need to lighten that up anymore from where it is. So he looks pretty decent how he is right now, and what we're going to do is we're going to get a small brush. And we're going to figure out what we're going to do about his eyes. So let's look at the artwork. They are nothing spectacular, so what I will do is I will get some white. Oh, that is way too much white. Too bad I don't have another project lined up. Use some of that white. I'm just going to get a fractional brush and just kind of dab out that area where those eyes are. Doesn't have to be perfect. We just want to show that there are eyes there. And all those eyes are is a little bit of pin drill hole. We just want to fill that in. Make it a nice little round. All right, it doesn't even really need to be round. Mine are kind of ovular. But just to show that there's eyes there. Then I'm going to hit that with the hot air gun. I'm going to come back with a little dab of black. And they're going to look a little cartoony. They're going to look a little bit cartoony for a second here. Get black. That's a much more reasonable dab of black. Get our brush. And just touch them somewhere on the white. And I'm going to clean that brush out and grab this blue. And I'm just going to kind of do a little above and a little bit below those. And try to make them all about the same size. Something like that. Just real tiny little around the eyes. That was a little bit big yet. Let's see if we can clean that up. So I've just come in and done that just to lighten those up, make them a little more noticeable. All right. Once you've sucked all the paint out of that fractional brush, let's come back with something small. Since we have this out, we'll just use this. Just wipe a lot of that off and get any of these areas we made tan while we were painting and make those gray again on here. It doesn't have to be perfect, but we just want to clean that up. And we can get that gray here. A little bit of that white. We can hit some of this rock. Just bring a new color in there. Just lightly. Maybe get a little bit more of that and lighten it up even more. Hit some of that. Oh, that's way too much paint. Don't make the mistake I just made. That looks like shit. Okay, get a little bit of water. We'll fix that the best we can. Before it completely dries, we're going to drag it around. Try to displace some of it. There we go. All right. So I'm pretty happy. I don't know if you guys are, but I feel like my Arrowhawk is looking like an Arrowhawk. Let's get the artwork. The official artwork, not my CGI toy I just made. So that's the real Arrowhawk, and this is my Arrowhawk I made, and you might be making one now too. So I'd like to thank you guys for watching. I'm Doom. I'm one half of the Dungeon Swag team. I'm just a guy in my basement having a lot of fun making silly stuff, and that's our Arrowhawk we made today, and he turned out pretty nice, I think. So there we go. That's that. If you like what we're doing here, like, subscribe, hit the bell icon. If you're interested in amazing miniatures at a really good price, cheaper than Reaper and most other places, don't buy from big corporations that are greedy. Buy from your local people in their basement. Asco and I on the Dungeon Swag site now have discount codes to get 25% off your first month's box. If you use the code BISCUITS in all caps. And then there's also one on the Discord that you can go and get a free miniature, shipping and everything included, sent right to your house for nothing to you. So you can try us out, because we're confident in our product and we think you'll like them. Otherwise, see you next time as we continue on to the Assassin Vine. That sounds scary. And have a good day.